Good morning to all of you at North. Oh, let me just
Sorry about
press the
that.
record. Good morning to you all North Florida realtors, I believe. So very, very excited to be here today. And thank you for coming in early. So it's 6 o'clock here on the other side of the world. I'm in Dubai. So that's in the Middle East. And yes, I'm really, really excited to share with you the growth that has happened for my business in real estate thanks to social media. And, thank you, Brandy. And obviously, you should all be truly grateful that Brandy has organized this for you today because this, I hope, is really going to help you change your game. And, a little bit of background about myself. So I've been in real estate for 17 years. I'm from the UK, so yes, that is an English accent, in case you didn't work that one out. And I've been living in the Middle East as an expatriate for 15 years, 5 years in Oman, and then 10 years here in Dubai. And for those of you that may not know, Dubai is one of the Emirates, and the country is actually not Dubai. The country is the United Arab Emirates, the UAE. Okay, just so you're clear on that. So I have been selling real estate, joined Keller Williams 7 years ago, was brought in as the first team leader. So was really, really passionate about growing the team and the family here in Dubai. And then, of course, like a lot of us, we learn the tools, we learn the model, and of course, we want to go out and do it our way as quick as we can, thanks to the MREA book and Gary Keller. So I
So
took myself
I
back
have
into
a
production.
guest that might not be with Keller Williams.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
You invite guests, so I should have preempted this a little bit better for you.
Okay.
So The Millionaire Real Estate Agent is a book that's written for all agents that Lucy's referenced. And the team leader is kind of like the CEO of our brokerages. So you might have that as like a managing broker where you might hold your license in a traditional type firm. We have our silly little language, right, with our culture. So just
I
wanted
know,
to
sorry. Realize
clarify,
that.
but
Yeah.
we just want to offer value to all agents. And this is specifically for a lot of people in the North Florida region, but there are
Yeah.
people that wanted some guests on the last couple of weeks. And we thought, why not? Let's share all this
Yeah.
amazing value with everyone so we can make it broker agnostic.
Absolutely. And in fact, yes, Brandy, I have been training a lot of agents and real estate professionals, no matter the company.
Mhm.
Sorry, I'm just putting on my AC because it's rather hot here. No matter the company and no matter their experience. And I'm actually going to start with that because I really want you all to hear this and hear it again and again and again. Whether you've been in real estate a few months or 25 years plus, you can change the game through social media.
Mhm.
So some of you that are watching that are brand new to this industry, you can overtake, I am not joking, you can overtake those that have been in the game for 25 years. If you do what I'm going to share with you and you do it consistently, you'll stand out very, very fast. Trust me. So the playing field, as we say in English, got even. And it's up to you what you do. So look, let's rewind us back 2.5 years. We all know what's happened in the world. We had our pandemic, and we all had to change our game. We were stuck at home, we were on lockdown, and we couldn't go out and do viewings. We couldn't take clients to our properties. What were we going to do? How were we going to shift our business? And this is where I was able to rise up fast because I had been doing my videos and my posts on social media way before COVID ever struck from 2015. In fact, my LinkedIn, I started in 2007 and I've posted almost every day since. Okay, so that's 15 years of consistency. So
Consistent
some of you,
content. I want you to write that down. Consistent
yeah,
content.
yeah. So it is not overnight, okay? It is not overnight. Now let's fast forward as to why I should be the person that's here today sharing with you why you need to get onto social media. I am not the best, I am not perfect, I'm not the top producing agent, but I will tell you this much. I did a video about 3.5 years ago. Okay, it was actually in New York, so in the US, and I had like 30 or 40 properties in the 157 building in New York. Okay, looking over the Central Park. So I decided I was going to do a video. And we're going to share the video at the end here, Brandy, so I'll give that to you to share with
Perfect.
everyone. I am not technical. So any of you watching thinking, yeah, but she's probably technical, she knows what she's doing, I really am not, okay? So I got my telephone and I just pressed record. That was it. And I got myself in front of the phone and I thought, I know this penthouse. It was like 56 million US dollars, right? On
Wow.
the whole floor. It was huge. The views, I knew the views would be amazing. So I got my telephone, I pressed record, and I literally walked around this penthouse on my Facebook, okay, and made a video. And I was excited. Of course I was. And you'll see the video. It is not the clearest video. There's no music. There's no editing. I make mistakes. I'm out of breath. At one part, I'm running through the penthouse because I'm realizing the video is going on too long. And I'm a little bit lost because the penthouse is so big and I don't really know my way around. But why I share all that with you is because you don't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be tweaked. You just need to do it.
I
Okay?
think
You need
that's
to take
the biggest
action.
fear. I just want them to hear that because I hear agents, whether they're experienced, like you said, 25 years plus,
Yeah.
or brand new luxury
Yeah.
or aspiring to be luxury. Maybe they've only sold a couple luxury properties. They have this apprehension of, I need a professional videographer. I've got to pay thousands of dollars. I have to have my makeup, or, if it's a gentleman, my hair right. And I've got to be dressed to the nines. It's like, it's Florida and it's hot. So there are times
Yeah.
when, you're not going to be perfect. And I see you post stuff where you are very genuine. Sometimes your hair is not done like curled perfectly, right? Like you've come from the salon, or full makeup and airbrushed. I mean, we're not Instagram models, right? I mean, that's not our living. We're selling homes to people and they want to know, like, and trust us.
And Brandy, you made a point there. I don't use filters. Can you believe that? I bet you're all sighing with relief. Wow, she doesn't use filters. Because what's the point? You're going to meet me one day to buy a
You're going
property.
to see. Yeah.
You're going to be like, is that even the same person? And I don't want to be like that, because if you start to come across to your clients as, not being authentic, then what else do they start to think? Well, maybe if she wasn't authentic on her Facebook, maybe there's something she's hiding as well as she's selling me this property, right? That's
Yeah.
what they're thinking. They're judging you, right? So be real. Anyway, the reason for this video is I put this video on LinkedIn. And I had 199,000 views in
Wow.
under 7 days. I'm not kidding. And I'm telling you this not to brag. I'm telling you this so that you will understand. I had never had a video that had done more than about 5,000 views ever, right? So can you imagine? That was massive. Yeah, it went viral. And I'll tell you this, I've got 44,000 followers on LinkedIn, but I don't have 199,000. So how did it get me so many views? And here's the thing about social media. The word, write it down, is reach. It's reach. Because the thing is, I reached more people than I'm connected to through my followers, who then liked it. Some of them even shared it. Some of them commented. And for those who may not familiar with this, when somebody comments or likes, their friends see what you're doing. So then there were all their friends that it opened up to. And then someone on the next level, third level, saw it. Now, the reason where I'm going with this story is I then had a client who bought a property from me on LinkedIn during the pandemic. He never met me. He never got on a plane to Dubai. I was in England stuck in COVID. He was in England. We were talking about buying a property in Dubai. He paid money, and that was a profit, not a profit, like a net income of $28,000 in my pocket. He didn't buy that property, by the way, the $55 million penthouse in my dreams, right? I'd be my private jet by now, everyone. But he bought something else, and he didn't buy straight away. He bought 4 months later. Now, did I pay any money to create that video? No. I pressed record and I pressed share. It was all free. Now, if you get really finicky and you're like, yeah, but I'm sure you paid something. Yeah, of course I paid to come to America, but I was coming to the US anyway. And the other thing is, and it's everyone should do this, again, make a note of this, I do have a premium account on LinkedIn. Okay, it's absolutely worth paying for that account, because why? I'll tell you. When somebody has a premium account, I can see who's looked at my profile. right? Now, of course, we're all very curious and it's quite interesting to know who's looking at you, but that's not the reason. The reason is that I then message them in private when people look through, what I'm doing in my posts, and I just simply say, John, thank you so much for visiting my profile. How may I help you? And do you know how many conversions I've done from those two lines? And I've not made them feel bad, like, ooh, I know you've been looking at me. I don't make them feel bad. I make them feel welcome and warm and say thank you for visiting my profile. How may I help? Not, do you want to buy? I don't want a closed question. And the minute they start talking, I instantly demand a telephone number. And I'm very stubborn. Some of them will carry on talking, and I just say, remind me again, what is your telephone number? What is your telephone number? And I keep going until I get the number. Because they are not a lead, they are not a contact for your database, right? Until you get their number. Because you'll never find them again as a LinkedIn contact. Same with Messenger, same with Instagram. YouTube is actually really frustrating. I'm finding that hard in terms of how to get through to them because I can't private message them very easily. But that's a tip, a big tip. So let's go back to the client that bought, and it resulted in a $28,000 commission. So what happened? So I said to him, why did you buy a property from me, and how do you know me? Because we're not connected on LinkedIn. And this is what he said. He said, well, it's really funny. You did this video on a New York penthouse 4 months ago, and my friend liked it, and then I liked it because he'd liked it, and I saw it through his profile. He wasn't even connected to me, right? Imagine that. And the other thing is, and I said, well, if you liked that and you wanted to buy, why didn't you get in touch with me? He said, but I didn't know who you were. I didn't know, if I could trust you and what you really did. So he said, so he said, I started watching you. I started watching you for the next 4 months, you see.
Wow.
So let me ask you, who is watching you right now on your social media? Be honest with yourself. When did you last post on Facebook? When did you last post on LinkedIn? Be honest with yourself. And if you didn't, then do it right now after this session. And if you posted, well, we'll get into that. What are you posting? Is it obvious you sell real estate? Okay, but we'll get into all that in a second.
So far, I'm hearing you say, and I'm just going to interject from time to time because you've got a lot of energy like me. So I want to make sure everyone's hearing this right. So, and I love your energy, by the way. And I've taken all of Lucy's classes, and sometimes I've had to watch the recordings and I'm like, oh, I should have been live with her because the energy, you feel her energy. So what I'm hearing is you really have to make sure that you're using LinkedIn as a business type platform. I think people underutilize LinkedIn. I've received a lot of listings from lead generation on there, and it is from people watching you, and you do have to look at who's viewing your profiles because they might have Googled you through some other way, and now they're finding you on LinkedIn or a friend of a friend. So again, are you posting consistent content that shows what you do to help people, which is find them their home, right? And match them. And then are you reaching people is another thing. And are you being genuine? And are you using it as a lead generation tactic to follow up and coming from contribution by saying, how are you? How may I help you? And that's offering to guide them and be a consultant versus a salesperson. So I love that. And you're immediately going in there and saying, thank you, coming from contribution and gratitude. Thank you for viewing me and watching what I'm doing. How may I help you? It's all about them. It's not about you.
Yeah, absolutely. And the key is building rapport. So, some people are so shy, they don't actually know how to approach you. So they will kind of be waiting. Maybe you don't know people are waiting. I literally had a client that I took to buy a villa yesterday, and I'm waiting for him to answer me today. And no joke, because he kept looking at my profile for about 3 months, I finally messaged him the other day. And I said, Steve, how can I help you? Because I notice you come onto my profile often. What is it that's of interest? And he said, well, actually, I live in Saudi Arabia. I'm bringing my family to move to Dubai. I'm looking for a villa, and I got him to a viewing yesterday, and he's about to make a decision. That would not, and he's very shy, because when I met him, he's a really shy, quiet, introverted individual. So if I hadn't asked him that question, who knows when he'd have got in touch with me, and if he'd have got in touch with me, and if my competition had got to him before me, right?
Well,
So,
and I hear this all the time on social media, like, well, I'm putting all this content, but I'm not getting any leads. Well, are you reaching out to
yes,
them? It's not
yes,
just about posting content and sitting back and waiting. It's this misconception that you're just going to get, I mean, yes, if you do some advertising, sure, the leads will come in, but now you have to filter through to see who's qualified. These are qualified people who are genuinely interested in what you do and are learning from what you post. And it's very clear the process, right? You're talking about what you do and the process to help people. And you have a specific kind of avatar, right? Like, that you have people moving from specific areas and coming into your area.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm going to go into the target audience in one sec. I just want to come back one stage to the word reach, because this is really, really important for you to understand. Look, in the US and in Europe, your industry has been going hundreds of years, right? So you're all very used to knocking on doors, handing out flyers, having open houses. Here in Dubai, our industry is only 18 years old. Imagine, we were sand dunes 18 years ago. Literally, we had nothing, right? So we had to be different in real estate in a different era to all of you. And so basically, we grasped social media faster. I mean, I've read all sorts of stats that say Saudi Arabia is the #1 social media user as a country in the world.
Wow.
Well, that also could be their culture, because they're not always meeting each other in public, etc. So they can meet like that. So I had to grasp. Sorry.
I think that was just
So I had to grasp that. But what I want to say is the reach. So how you do real estate in the US is that you have a sign outside your property for sale, right? That says so-and-so for sale, call my number, okay? So what are you doing with that sign? What you want is as many drivers and many eyes as possible to pass your sign and take your number. Is that correct? That's the aim, right? Yeah. So you want as many eyes on your property for sale. Well, guess what? How many eyes did I have on my property in minutes with a free video that took me 2.5 minutes? I did not pay for that video. By the way, I don't pay for any ads on social media. I'm just putting that there right now. I don't pay for ads. Everything comes free, okay? So imagine, and in COVID times, I wouldn't have needed to go to that property and stand there all day and do an open house and waste time and hours. And for some of you, maybe you don't always feel safe doing open houses. So I have a clean, safe, cheap, effective, fast way of getting eyes on my property. And that is the most powerful part about social media. And so again, what I say is, whether you've been in the industry 6 months or 25 years, it's a playing field that's equal now. It really is. So if you're out there and you're loud and you're standing out and you're posting and posting and posting, you can easily overtake and do more business than somebody in the industry for 40 years. Simple as that, right? It's great. It's the best time to be in real estate. And Brandy, I'm going to say something which may be very, very bold.
No, not you, Lucy. You're not known for that.
Okay, and I'm sorry if I hurt anyone's feelings, but I say it as it is, because it's going to help you in the long run. The fact is, if you are in real estate today and you're not on social media, I don't think you should be in the industry. Honestly, I really don't. I really, really don't. You're just missing out. Your competition's overtaking you. They're going to be much more powerful and they'll have faster results than you. And you're wasting your time. You're going out to be busy for the sake of being busy, but you're actually not getting results. Okay, so that's like my little bold statement, Brandy. Maybe we can open
I 100% agree with you. I think, I've embraced social media from day one, but I'm a stats nerd. I love statistics. I have turned off my notifications, so I'm not sure if that's someone else's, but I think I've got
I
everyone.
think it might be mine, and I'm not quite sure because remember, I'm not very technical. So
I know. I'm like, I was sitting there like, do I even know how to turn off my notifications? I do know how to
okay,
post
let me
on
see
social
if I
media.
can.
But I think
Well,
embracing social media in some capacity and at least starting with one platform, whatever it is that you kind of like is just start today. And I think
yeah,
that, you know, if you look at the statistics of how much time people spend on specific platforms, and that might help guide you. I do love LinkedIn like you. I know that might be not someone else's favorite, but whatever your favorite is, it could be Facebook, it could be Instagram. Like I'm not great on Instagram. I don't get it. It's a bunch of pretty pictures. I want more content, but I'm learning from others. So that's going to be my growth pattern. So have your priorities and your strategies and be very intentional about, okay, here's what I'm good at. Let's focus the majority of effort here because I understand it. And then maybe the next quarter or however you want to organize your growth, have that in your growth part of your goal setting.
yeah, absolutely. And you know, there's so many stages to social media. If I were to, you know, if you were to take away one thing from today, just post consistently. So whether you do it 4 times a week or you do it every single day, whatever you're going to do, just stick to it. Just start by posting, okay? And you know, there's a lot of my posts that are open. Even I think I'm at my 5,000 friends, so I can't add more friends, but most of my posts are public. So you can check out my posts on Facebook. And we're going to go into a slightly different section now, but what you're going to see is it is obvious I sell real estate. It is more obvious I live in Dubai, but you actually learn about me as a person away from work. Okay, so I share my life, I share my passions, I share my fears, my vulnerabilities. As Brandy said, you know, like I actually, quite scary, I did a photo of me this morning without makeup. Don't all run and see it. It's awful. But anyway, I did my morning walk, and I was like, even I was like, oh, should I do this? Gosh, I've never done a makeup-free photo. But you know what? I don't care because you don't want the whole world as your clients anyway. You want the right people, and you attract who you put out there into the universe, right? And I've become a lot more picky and choosy about the clients I want to work with, which is a great position to be in. So actually, those types of clients maybe are the ones that, you know, for whatever reason, like the fact that, you know, you don't need your makeup on, or that you do your morning walks and they do it, or that you love dogs and they love dogs. And if people are shy and they don't know how to approach you, it might just be a simple, oh, you know, like Lucy, you also went to that beach recently. I've been there and I had a really great meal. And you start chatting, and then you take it to a private message, and you say, "Oh, you've been to Dubai. You know, how did you feel? Like, what did you like?" And they're like, "Well, actually, we came to look for properties." There you go. You've got it. You've got the connection, and you've started that conversation. But it didn't start because I was, you know, harassing them to buy my property. It started on a genuine connection about a restaurant that we'd both eaten at over the last few months, right? So that's an engagement that is nothing to do with work. And I
I
think
think
a lot of people
what
forget to
I
go
like,
personal.
yeah, I think what I'm hearing, and I see this with you, and you've taught me a lot. One thing that was my biggest aha and takeaway from taking your class, which we will talk about later in case people want to maybe join your next upcoming one.
Yeah.
I learned that, and you said this and it didn't hit me at first. And then as I'm taking the course, I'm like, okay, she's right. Being vulnerable and opening up kind of the personal side to you outside of being in business. And I get so wrapped up in what my agents are doing, being, you know, an owner of a brokerage and supporting them and talking about training and how we can help them, that in my clients and helping them, that I forget that people actually want to, like, who are you? Who are you as a person outside of what you do for a living? Most people in real estate, we don't think people really want to get to know us, but they do. Like, we're literally handling the largest asset in their portfolio. And then you'd go into luxury, and we're talking many different assets in a very large portfolio, because now you are the real estate consultant for them globally.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're
You
helping them.
And Brandy, this is the thing. So if you all sort of think about your last appointment with a client, which may be, yeah, may have been yesterday, you can't tell me that you're only talking business the entire viewing, really. I'm
Right.
sure you're not. I'm sure you're also talking about other things, right? So
Yeah.
the thing is, and think about what are the topics that clients talk to you about a lot. It's probably what your interests and passions are, or maybe where you live, or you both, are members of the same golf club, or whatever it is. And if you think back to the last week of meetings with clients and you start to make a note, just list what are the topics I spoke about the most and the clients loved. Those are the topics, start bringing them in to your social media. And all of us, thankfully, are unique. So none of us can be the same as the other. No one can be copying each other because we're all different. That's the beauty of this, right? That's the beauty of social media. Why it's addictive, because we can follow a million people and everyone's got different life stories.
You know what, you touched on something too that I don't want and we're going to open it up to Q&A in a few minutes here,
Sure.
but I want to just reiterate one other thing. You are very good at this, and I'm not sure how you do it. Sometimes I wonder if you sleep, but you comment on almost everyone's comment. And you engage with everyone. And I'm sure there's messaging, like you said, that you take to the side, but you're constantly engaging with people. So yes, the posting consistently and being genuine and doing the follow-up and the lead generation is important. But if you're not engaging with people and you go right to the messaging, they're really not, you haven't engaged with them to kind of nurture them, to bring them to the lead generation part of it, where you're going to private message them. And you're still starting that off with a conversation about their interests before you get into, and they bring it up. They usually bring up whether or not they're interested in real estate. We don't even really have to ask the question.
Exactly. And Brand, that's a really good point here, right? So as a realtor, what is our job description? What is our daily activity? It is lead generation. It is making as many connections and having conversations about real estate. So think times have changed, and maybe some of us in different companies, we were taught you need to do this many phone calls a day. I'll be really honest with you, I probably do 2 actual phone calls, and I do 33 connections as messages backwards and forwards on LinkedIn or on Instagram or on Facebook as private messages, or here in Dubai we use a lot, well, outside of the US we all use WhatsApp. So WhatsApp I swear by, and it's instant and it's there, and we message. So that to me is an activity that's taking me closer and closer to closing my client, because we are having a genuine real estate conversation, but it started from maybe that social media post, right? Or
Yeah.
a laugh or a giggle, or somebody like refers you a friend. Oh, Lucy, you were talking about this on Facebook. Actually, so and so really wants to have some information on buying in Dubai as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you're measuring and tracking your habits very differently from even like 4 years ago, I believe.
Oh,
Um,
100%.
yeah,
We did a whole new lab for bolds, and it was a few years ago. And that's one thing that I was so passionate about, that we should be allowing the agents, and just in case you're outside of Keller Williams as a guest here today, Bold is a coaching program that's several weeks, and it's all about, lead generation and mindset and just supporting each other and helping each other grow your business. And social media, I wanted to be a big part of it. And there were other agents that also felt very passionate about it, because years ago, when I was in heavy production and not a broker, I would be calling, right, to see if somebody wanted to list their house and
yeah,
expires, and it was cold calling, and not a lot of people that have different personalities will enjoy that, and they're not going to want to do that. But social media, like you said, you can reach people at an exponential rate, and you
yeah,
should be able to count that contact that turns into a connection. If you're having a
yeah,
two-way conversation, that's a connection. They're
yeah,
responding to you, you're responding to them, you're getting to know them, and now you're going to nurture them, I would hope. I mean, why wouldn't
yeah.
you want to?
Well, then they go on to a system, and that is why it's also really, really key to get their telephone number as fast as possible. I mean, I don't use email at all really for clients. We use WhatsApp and telephone here. You guys used probably more email, but so I'm all about getting the telephone, because also, and you've got to think about this, right? Can you honestly close a client if you don't have their phone number? So then you actually know how genuine they are, or whether they're wasting time wanting a chat or whatever. I mean, I've had a client like that who was blatantly wealthy. He wanted to know all about property, but he would not give me his number. And I said to him, I said, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to have real estate conversation. I don't know if he was a time waster. You never know, right? But I was like, I'm not going to keep having conversations if you won't give me your telephone number, because how can we ever get to the next step on your, your interest in real estate? And he was put out by that. But you know what? You have to move on, because there are other clients that will give their telephone number, and they do want to actually go and buy a property and get to the next step. So I'm very strict on that, and it's hard. You've got to say no, because I used to be a yes girl to everyone that so much as had a heartbeat that talked about real estate in Dubai, and I found I wasn't making money. Surprise, surprise. So now I say no to the time wasters that won't give me their telephone number, and I just say, look, when you will give me your telephone number, we can have a real estate conversation. It doesn't happen very often, by the way. I'm just giving you the exception here.
Yeah, but you can't take it to that consultation. And I think a lot of times what happens in instant gratification society, right, the Amazon world we live in, that a lot of agents or anyone in any business, because I know you teach this to all different industries, your social media classes. I think that consultation is being skipped, because we are able to get in front of people instantly, and we're really doing a disservice to that prospective client, right? It's not even really a client until you've had a needs analysis, a consultation. So even if it's an agent that we're looking to see if they're the right fit for a brokerage, maybe there's some brokers on here. You can't build the relationship only through messaging and sign them onto your brokerage and show the value. I mean, you have to sit down and do the needs analysis just like a seller or a buyer, because maybe you're not the right fit, and maybe they're not the right fit for you. Their expectations might be different than what you deliver, and your value is here. And so I see that a lot with agents. It's just the messaging, online leads, and then they go show property, and then they wonder, oh my gosh, I didn't meet my income goal. And it's like, well, you didn't have the appointment. You went right to showing them the property, and you're running around like crazy, and all this time is wasted. And then maybe they bought in some other place. Well, I didn't even know they were looking in such and such. You could have referred them to someone, that in that other area.
I mean, I wouldn't even get to an appointment stage, because if they haven't given me their phone number, how on earth can we even agree where to meet if we haven't got phone numbers? I mean, it's just a joke. They're not serious. And I don't want time wasters. My business doesn't have time for that. But I learned the hard way. I did 10 years of wasting time and being a yes to everyone in the world that wanted property, and they didn't actually genuinely want property. So I wasted, because I thought being busy was, the way to go as an agent. So I'm not sitting there twiddling my thumbs, but I could have been more effective in different ways. But now, obviously, I've learned that.
So you're being purposeful, less busy. And I hear that all the time, especially when I'm talking to agents, when I'm really busy. And it's like, okay, well, I wish you would learn this to say no. And it's so hard, especially if you're a people pleaser, or maybe even a high I, not always a people pleaser, but someone that's just social. They want to be around people. And so they feel they have to be around a lot of people and have all these meetings. And really you want to prioritize and say no, so you can say yes to what really is going to change your world and your life for your family. And that's hard. It's hard for people. It's hard for me. I know that.
Yeah, no, it is. It really is. So, one of the reasons as well why we're touching on this subject today, I mean, I've been doing it for a while, is, since the pandemic, I think you'll all identify, even yourselves and your own family members, friends, households, that we are all much more connected than ever before. I bet you've all doubled your time on your phones and your, computers than before. I'm absolutely sure of it, okay? Because we all changed. The world changed, and it changed so fast that if we did not embrace it, we just missed out, and others took over. And that is actually where I've seen some really, really new real estate professionals come in and smash it above those in the industry 30 years. And they wonder, well, what, they're sitting there comfortably on their comfortable network of 1,500 that usually closes every month. But oh gosh, well, they didn't come to me this time because they were on Instagram or they were on LinkedIn, and someone else got in front of them before you did.
Yeah.
So you lost out. You missed out. So yeah, the world changes, and we have to. It's the blockbuster Netflix scenario all over again. If we don't embrace change, we miss out. Brandy, what's your timing for us carrying on? Because I've got lots to talk about still, but I want to
So let's see if, it's about 10:36. Do you want to go to about 10:45 and then open up for Q&A then, since
Yeah,
you have some
yeah.
more information? Okay, great.
Okay, sure. Okay. So, you always have the sort of questions why, what, how, who on social media. So let's get the beginning first, really, really obvious. So if I were to go to each of your social media profiles, and I'm assuming all of you have at least one presence somewhere, right? Is it clear right now, if I went to your LinkedIn, that you are a real estate professional, you are in North Florida, and you are selling commercial or you are selling residential? Hands up, yes, it's clear, or don't put your hands up if it's not. And I think we should have everyone's faces so we can see you, because this is about being no longer a secret agent.
I want to see your beautiful
So is
faces.
it clear? Yeah, is it clear, hands up, that you are a realtor in North Florida selling? It is clear on your social media. So if I went to your LinkedIn right now, it's clear, right? Is there anyone, and it's okay, we don't judge, that now recognizes, wow, if I go to my Facebook, I'm all about cats? I'm just asking, because you might be, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. So big like moment there for you to think, wow, okay, yep, she's right. It's pretty obvious I like cats, but really, how's anyone ever going to know to come and contact me if it's not there that I sell real estate in North Florida? So I would, little like to-do list here as I'm talking, I would go to all your social media when we finish this, and I would change it so it says which brokerage you're at, which area you're covering. Are you residential? Are you commercial? Do you do only farms? Do you do multifamily? I don't know what you do. Or if you're in leadership and you're recruiting, is it obvious you're recruiting and you're training? It's as simple as that. So first of all, get your who obvious, because no one's going to come to you if we don't even know what you do, okay? The second thing is, do we know exactly who you are? What are your skills? What makes you stand out? Do you have language skills? Do you speak Russian? Maybe we never knew you spoke Russian, okay? Or do you speak Arabic? I don't know. And is it obvious? And is that constantly coming across in your social media, right? What about your personality? Are you somebody that works out every day? Do we know about that? Are you somebody that is always helping children in a children's home? Or are you a mother and you have twins? Like, is it obvious? Start to look at your personality from the outside and say to yourself, if I was somebody that had never met me before, what are they actually learning about me so far from my social media? And, is that the message I want to portray? Okay. Now, I'm not asking anyone to be fake and create a persona, because in the end, that's obviously, not real and authentic. But just be aware of how you come up on social media. And, other things could be, how often are you coming up on social media? So if I was to go to your Facebook, when did you actually last post? Be honest. Did you post today? Did you post in the last week? By the way, if you were wanting to be friends with me on Facebook, I'll give you away a little my secrets here, and you hadn't posted in at least a month, I won't add you as a friend, right? Because if you're not posting on your Facebook, you're not going to engage with me. Even if I engage with you, you're not going to answer me. So actually, to me, you're like a dead contact, and I've only got 5,000 connections, and I want to be connected with 5,000 amazing people, whether they're going to buy a house with me or not. If they can add value and I can add value to them, those are the people I want to be connected with. So I'm constantly deleting and recycling and adding new people that I'm like, wow, they're just such incredible